they literally let me know that my app or my solution was the best contact tracing app they had seen, and told me that they will I should go to call me. I didn't hear from them again. I know that there's been very good reasons why I didn't hear from them again. But just like I said, we developers, we build app and then we only think about the solution, but the execution is also what really matters. So whatever meeting they had, I think they had good reasons why they couldn't accept this application. Because when it comes to privacy, that is something they cannot risk. And that is the problem facing all COVID-19 application across the entire globe.
Okay, Isaac. What about you? I mean, what is your concern about the issue of privacy? Is it more about government probably taking advantage of, the personal data of citizens, probably, to take advantage at some point? I don't know. But what do you think about it?
I mean, I think it's a huge issue, and it's about where do you draw the line? On one hand, you need to give up some privacy for them to have the ability to work and do the contact tracing and keep the citizens and the country safe. But then how much are you giving up to the government? So you have some people who don't want to be involved at all, whilst others are very willing to give up their data and the information if it helps keep people safe. So it's about how the intentions of the government. We all know what's happening, for example, in Zimbabwe right now and the other places in the world where the regime is not having a positive aspect to their citizens.
Okay.
But here in Ghana, I can say we're a bit blessed, and we hope that the government is taking our interest at heart and using the information well to protect us.
Okay, but you have a village where you get a lot of app developers to work with you. What are some of the challenges that you have faced along the line?
Well, a lot of the challenges is the funding. In Ghana, the investors are more adapt to investing in real estate, and we don't have a very big culture of investing into startups, not like in the US or in Europe. So access to financing is a huge issue that we're trying to solve.
Okay.
But also now, because of COVID, a lot of companies have less money to spend. So they know they need technology, but now they're making less sales. But we've just had to adapt new business models. So like one company, for example, the last 2-3 deals they've had is they do part payment for the app they develop, but then they also take some equity in the company that they're doing, so like they're working with.
Okay.
So they've changed the way they do the valuation of their software.
Okay, but I mean, out there, we've seen a lot of these big-time millionaires, businesses invest heavily in, Instagram, TikTok, because, of course, we can all see clearly how much money that is going to bring home. Do you think that the reason why we're struggling with funding here in Ghana is because maybe these business, personalities or companies have not yet seen how some of these apps developed by our very own people can bring in the millions and the billions?
Yes, I'll say that. It's part of the culture, part of the knowledge. We don't have many unicorns, let's say here in Africa, but also we don't have many investors. Just last year, I was a co-author for a report for the GIZ about tech investments in Africa. That was led by Intelligent Capital. And most of the investors that invest in Ghanaian startups, whether it's M-Pharma or crowdfunding, Project Tractor and so on and so forth, come from outside. It's the US, it's the UK, it's Germany, right? So we need more, because we have very wealthy Ghanaians here, but they're rather putting money into real estate, into farming, or investing in houses abroad.
Because maybe we haven't found a way, to pitch our ideas to them. Don't you think that's the case?
That's part of the case, right? But we also need, and thank you very much for TV3, right? We also need more awareness. We need more programs for the people here to see what Ghanaian startups can do. So like in the US, you have a lot of marketing, and everywhere they're talking about the great startups, what's going on. So US is very good with their marketing. We need more media support from the media houses to show these great startups what we have here. I mean, the people in the panel were talking before the show started. They're doing amazing things. And there's no reason why we couldn't export our technology from Ghana to Europe rather than waiting for a German company to come and do blockchain or telehealth.
Okay.
The same problems we have here in Ghana, they're doing up in Europe. So we should develop technology here. Coach, also, if we can work in Ghana where the conditions are harder, we have less access to the technology, to stable internet, funding, and to financial options. If we can make it work here in Ghana, we can make it work almost anywhere else in the world, whether it's Nigeria, South Africa, Indonesia, China, or London.
Okay.
Right? So we just need people to take a chance on us.
Neosai, are apps not below standard? Maybe could that also not be a reason why we're not getting investors?
I would not say that the apps are below standard. You know, most of the time when developers are creating applications, we develop it with like industry standard based.
Okay.
For example, if in the payments industry, we have PSI, DSS, we have ISO, we have a lot of standards that we meet. And even before you deploy your application, you need to meet these standards, these safety standards, these privacy standards before you deploy your application to the App Store or Google Play. So I don't think it's the thing about standards. I think it's the thing about exposure, like my dear colleague Isaac Newton mentioned. It's about exposure. Most of the VCs who are like investing in these big companies are mostly not looking at African companies. Even if you look at some of the companies that have received huge investments in Africa, they are not really African companies. They are black labeled companies that are incorporated in San Francisco. So you go and check a company, it looks African, it has black people there.
Yeah.
Or if you go and watch, all the investors are white people, the company is incorporated in San Francisco. The company is white, but has black people working in it. So
whose job is it to give you exposure and to market you? Because that's also something that Isaac touched on, that we need good marketers and, you know, we need that exposure. But whose job is it to do that?
I think it's a two-way approach. So, of course, software developers, or should I say entrepreneurs, should also put themselves out there. And also the press agencies should also engage more with the ecosystem or with the community to showcase what you're doing, because it's a two-way affair. For example, in America, you have folks like TechCrunch, CNN, and all those other people interviewing developers on a daily basis and showcasing what is happening. So it's a two-pronged approach. When you put them out there, they get more investment, they bring more capital into their economy, then everybody grows. So I think it's a two-pronged approach.
Mustafa and Frederick, I'll come to you shortly. I realized Isaac wanted to speak on this, so I have to bring him back in.
I think it's very important. We are called the Enterprise Village, and we believe, just like the African proverb says, it takes a village to raise a child. It takes a village to raise a venture. So it's everybody should support in building these African companies. Yes, the startup developers, the app developers have a lot to do, but yes, the media have their role to play, but the government as well, whether it's policy, whether it's tax incentives, whether it's grants, but also the citizens buying African products, right? And you talk about quality, that Beyonce just had her Black is King video made, and she used African talent throughout. So she's going to show that you can have high quality goods made here in Africa. The person who shot her video was a young Ashesi graduate, right? She's not even someone with gray hair. We have youth here who are capable of making Beyonce videos. App developers are the same. And one of our apps here is being developed for a UK company that is venture backed. So not that they don't have money, but they said, okay, let us take the chance and use a Ghanaian company. We had some history already, trust built, and they've worked with the company, they built the app, and now they said, okay, we have 3 more apps we want to build with you, and want to have a long-term relationship with you doing maintenance. This is going to be a use case. Now I can go to show other people outside that, hey, look, Ghana is a place to be. Why use Eastern Europe? Why use India? Come to Ghana and get your apps built here.
Okay. Now, Frederick, quick one so we can just wrap up with Mustafa as well. Mustafa, you wanted to touch on it, but hold on. Frederick, the other concern has been that because we may not have investors here, a lot of our African developers sell themselves short, when they come into contact with a lot of these international developers. And that's why they keep coming for us at a cheap rate. And maybe if we thought about developing ourselves down here without necessarily having to sell our apps, to these international markets, then maybe we'll be able to put ourselves on a certain pedestal that makes it more difficult for them to even get us at such a cheap rate. Is that true?
Well, I wouldn't say that is entirely true. Our world here, the problem is, it's not that developers here are incapable of building powerful solutions, or people here are not capable of building solutions. They are. The problem is the way that the ideas or the solutions they have can be seen. With the app that I was telling you about, the COVID-19 app I was telling you about, even with my connections, it took me a very long time to even get the health service to listen to me, to just listen to the solution that I have. And if you're a young developer coming up, where you build solutions, and let's say you're spending sleepless nights creating solutions, with the COVID-19 app, when I was building, I spent 3 days without sleeping working on the software. I imagine that I spent, let's say, a month sleepless night building a software like this. And I'm supposed to put it out there or to show it to somebody. And I'm not getting anybody. I'm not getting anybody to even listen to me. That can be quite devastating. And eventually, somebody might even give up on the project that they're pursuing. So we kind of live in a system where you have to know somebody who knows somebody, and that person also knows somebody. But I believe that given the opportunity, or if there was a platform where developers could, or not just developers, Indians who are here and then have abilities of building software solutions, could showcase the things they do to people, and there are people who are ready to listen to them, and just hold your hands and say, I'm going to link you to an investor. That is going to be very, very helpful, and it's going to really encourage the upcoming ones, because we've taken the lead and they're looking at us. And if we're not making progress, I don't think they will follow our footsteps.
Okay. Well, I have to wrap up. But Mustafa, what do you have to say about this quickly so we can wrap up on this conversation?
Right. Okay. So speaking about quality, right? That African developers maybe maybe we're not building top-notch products and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
So with even our self-checker bots that we developed down here in Ghana, right? We had about 800,000 plus people in the US who had used our self-checker bots to check whether they might have COVID or not, right? And do you know, in Ghana, we had about 10,000 plus people in Ghana that had used it, right? We have people from Canada, UK, Australia, who had used our self-checker bot, right? And to date, we are not, to date, we have people in the US that still use our self-checker bot to check what they might have, whether they have COVID or not, right?
Okay.
So with technology has no boundaries. In Ghana and some build a product, and someone in China would be able to use it because it has no boundaries.
Okay.
Right? Look at TikTok. Look at Snapchat. We don't even know the developers that are building, right? But you know, all what we want is we want to use Snapchat. We want to use TikTok. That's all what we want to do. So I think it's not about we're not building a top-notch product, or our product that we're building down here is not quality. It's all about exposure, as Isaac said, right? It's all about exposure. If we are being given the exposure, we'll be able to do more.
All right. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for speaking to me this morning. I think it's been very enlightening. Mustafa Zaidan is the CEO of FastRix, and Isaac Newton-Akwa is the co-founder and hub manager at the Enterprise Village, Frederick Otimenta is the head of software development, Million Soul, and Ni Osai Dade is the director of software engineering at Mazuma. We'll be speaking to our doctors shortly. Keep